And I'm back. This is a middle perch on the internet. Live. I'm MTK on the MIC. And we are on the 30th of November. So that's 31 days left in 2019. 30 days after November, right? That's when you could switch with the September. So 31 days left in 2019, wrapping up 2019 and looking forward to MTK 2020, which I'm definitely doing. But it'll be a different manifestation. These will be the very last programs of a middle perch on the internet, live with your host MTK. And as we wrap up the year today, I wanted to run over a couple of things. One that came up is, as a writer or as an artist or as a person, as a member of society or a person who cares about society, maybe if you were political or a public servant, sometimes what you do is you look for an author who's the pulse of the nation, or an author who is, writing about things that you care about. And often really great authors will not endorse politicians because they're really trying to avoid that. And there's too much that comes with politicians that is compromise oriented. To be a politician is to compromise. So when it comes with that, the author becomes, I think, dissuaded, if you will, from that. So endorsements are rare among great writers. So when they do them, you start to think, well, that's, something we should consider, right? Like, and it happened recently that there was an author I like, and this author endorsed for the first time a candidate. And I listened as the author gave a talk about many things. The theme of the talk was related to the Earth, basically, environmental science and the climate and the effect of human beings, I think, on the planet, and how we're going to move forward was one of the themes of the conference that this author was at. And the author was using fire as a metaphor, and described a third kind of fire being us, with a swell of emotion and a movement of people who care about a lot of different things. And she said, what we have to do is be the fire that clears away stuff, clears away debris, because some fires, she said, on purpose to clear away debris. And the metaphor she used was, we have to clear away the distractors, the doomers, and the dividers. The distractors, the doomers, and the dividers. We have to clear away the distractors, the doomers, and the dividers. And I really liked that. I thought, well, that's pretty good. A lot of what I've tried to do here is go slowly here. We're not doing high-speed hot takes. We're doing reading of long-form pieces or discussions about things in a more in-depth and real manner rather than a highly scripted or artificial manner. And so when I heard that, clear away the distractors, the doomers, and the dividers, wrote it down while I was listening to this author, who was then going on to endorse for the first time a candidate. I'm not going to tell you the author or the candidate because I don't think it matters. And again, a middle perch is about, I don't endorse here. I've never endorsed as a journalist and as a writer. That world is highly compromised. I'm the least compromised person I know. That by staying uncompromised is what brought me to the state I'm in, basically, right? So what's the point of selling out now? So it doesn't matter who the author was. I'm describing something that I think should be common to any caring individual in a society that has a body politic and a body literature. And we have that. Guess what? Even though it's disappearing, we have that. And as I'm thinking about MTK 2020 and themes we're going to discuss in the new year, I was thinking I ought to also, in shorter terms, in clearer terms, explain why my isolation is clear to me and is not something that I think of makes me. I'm not a victim. I'm the last example of a victim that ever was. And so I came up with something the other day that popped into my head, and I thought I would try it on you. I tried very hard. Well, not really that hard, but I tried hard to be a contributor, okay, to the United States, to the U.S., to be, moved here when I was 2 years old. I've been in public schools all through, and became a citizen 38 years ago, right? But at every point of engagement, school, work, relationships, the state, I met with being asked to do something that I felt was fundamentally wrong to me, to my tradition, to my culture, and my sense of what is the truth at every level, every relationship I've had in the United States. And I would go home and have these discussions with my parents, and we would establish our truths, our culture, and I would ask these questions. And one of them was just she did not want to be involved in thinking about it that deeply. She wanted me to just succeed in America, and the other was adamant to protect what he perceived of as thousands of years of culture and making sure I had that as a part of my soul, right? A Tamil Brahmin, my Brahminism, my culture as a part of my soul, which was supposed to give me the opportunity to be judicious about the place where we are. And I'm not coming to America as a refugee. That's why people see me as spoiled. That's why people see me as ungrateful, okay? But what I just said is really critical. At every point of engagement, school, work, relationships, the state, I met with being asked to do something that felt fundamentally wrong to me. Now, my incredible privilege, my level of freedom has been way off the charts. I don't think there's anybody who's been as free as me, if I'm quite honest. To think freely, I've thought freely, I've said crazy things, I've written crazy sounding things because I wanted to see that this First Amendment was real. I wanted to see that we can actually do this. Those were going to be the tools to which I was going to contribute, you know what I mean? Until 9/11 and the world we live in the post-millennial world, which has been just farcical. And if you watch the program, you can see where I've been very detailed in discussing those things. But my level of privilege, my level of freedom, which I just took, and everybody accused me of taking for granted and not being thankful enough for and not grateful enough for. I'm sure it sounds bad even now when I say these things. I took that as an intellectual point. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it to be true to both myself and what I think of as truth, I took that and I exercised it, and it allowed me to pursue who I am and what I believe. And I've done that. And if there are people who want gratitude for that, if the United States wants gratitude for that, or my parents want gratitude for that, or my friends want gratitude for that, okay, y'all can have some gratitude for that. But to be honest, there was not one of you who ever really listened to me as I was trying to grow the me I am. And the vast majority of you spent most of the time trying to make me become a thing. Just fit in. And the go along to get along was contradictory to something that inside me felt wrong. Okay, so you have to understand. I did it concurrent to having to participate in your so-called society, right? But I took it. I took the freedom. It costs me to this day, apparently, because of the amount that I'm misunderstood in this regard. And the amount that lately I'm just telling people, you know what? No, you are too compromised. You're not the person you were. You're a hypocrite now. And the whole, well, if you're pointing your finger, three are pointing at you. Yeah, but three are pointing at me. I'm on the record here. I took it. I understood I have this privilege. I took the privilege. I'm trying to comment for consistently now for 19 years at least, we could say, in this millennium has been a problem. It's a huge problem. The America we're making is wrong. The America we're making is bad. The America we're making is a shadow of the America that I moved to. And the direction that we're doing is to reinstitute things that are bad. And I don't want to be party to that. So this is what made me a dropout. I'm a dropout. I was in deep until the '04 election when I proved it was fixed, and I dropped out. I dropped out during most of Obama. I dropped out during the Trump election. And now we're talking about whether or not Trump gets 4 more years. And it's an election year. And I've covered a lot of elections. And I'm dropping back in. And it's going to be called MTK 2020. It'll be here or it'll be somewhere. And this is not, I'm not an extremist. My views are simple and clear, and they're the same as they've been for a long time. They are views of a pacifist who believes that we are way too bellicose and we exercise war way too freely and with not nearly enough consideration for whether it's right or not. And I'm a historian because I care about this country and I've studied history. I have a degree in history and I know America. And I have written and read about America for a long, long time. And I'm an artist. I come up with ideas and concepts of my own. I create concrete poems and I make objects and films and audio projects and books. And I'm a writer, and I write to the best of my ability with the clarity that I can these viewpoints that I think are being isolated and have made me a balloon. And hence I sit on this middle perch in the freest place trying to express these things in the hope that we can come together on this. But I'm not going to budge, even though I now have been trounced by the bellicose and by the Bush-Cheney years where people just gave away their rights. All of our rights. They didn't just give away their own rights. They gave away my rights. And I want to rein in the whole thing. So, and I'm not going to endorse here. This is not my objective is not to endorse, but my objectives are to educate and to inform and to look at things the way I look at them. I do not want to be interpreted as a libtard or as a right-winger or as a toxic male. I don't want anybody to judge my language. I'm sick and tired of watching people judge people's language. I don't want to hear about any of that. I'm trying to contribute something concrete here that could be useful. I don't even need any credit, if I'm very honest. I would just like to see the ideas that come up percolate through our society in a manner that they used to when I had a larger platform. And now I have control of a little simple thing here. I'm on the record. And I'd like to continue to be able to be who I am. And I'm going to keep doing that.